Welcome to part 3 of our adventure in AM2R, another Metroid 2 remake. This is the community branch of AM2R that succeeded the original project when it ceased development back in 2016, so it is a version 1.5.5 released in 2020, which is the most recent one as of my effort to get through it. And we're going to be making, hopefully, a serious push to the finish today, given that we're currently at 80% collectibles and 8 Metroids remaining, although given the structure that we know from some combination of the original game and the official Nintendo remake, Samus Returns, we know that the last couple of Metroids are certainly not going to be a walkover by any means. We've got the Omegas to deal with, we've got the Queen. We'll see what else this game does to embellish things along the way, of course. As we discovered, at the conclusion of the previous stream, when we found this entire new area that was created for AM2R, the Galactic Federation vessel GFS Thaw, which was just parked on the surface up there and accessible from the elevator above the laboratories. So there have been some added twists and turns and surprises along the way, but we have a general idea of what the flow will be from here. We left off last time thinking that the transportation system that has opened up here, with these little purple nodes with the triangles in them, are going to lead us to a new sector that's kind of on the right side of the map as you see it now. It's not going to be very big by the looks of it, maybe just something transitional, but it is still going to be something valuable to explore and process. We know that down here there are passages that are blocked off and waiting the gravity suit, which is going to give us the ability to use the speed booster underwater, which is something that is also going to account for the circled collectible here that we haven't dealt with yet. We know that there are some other blocks that we don't know how to remove just yet that will eventually lead our way over to at least one more missile expansion and energy tank over in the top right, unless I'm missing something about how that was set up. I'm expecting that once we clear out the 2 remaining Metroids in the zone that is currently marked by the scanner here in the bottom right, that we'll be descending through here, crossing the lift, heading back up, and then I assume that it will be an ascent through the sequence of the Queen eventually, but we don't exactly know because the way that this game has reimagined everything has been expansive and is largely new to us. Anyway, first port of call is going to be over to that top purple triangle that we haven't explored properly yet, although I see now that next to the save station there's actually, in a room to the right, seemingly a connecting passage we haven't opened. I don't remember why we didn't open that, so I should actually check that quickly while we have it in mind. Just to remind myself of why it was we haven't opened this yet. Oh, because it's powered off. Okay, that makes sense. So presumably when we go up there through the purple lift, that's going to be the return path afterwards then. That would only make sense. So yeah, up we go, and we'll continue from there and see what we'll be up to today. As we get the controls back under our fingers again. Oh, yeah, that was kind of a mistake. Let's let everything blow up. We're supposed to screw attacks from nowadays. We can do that. There's quite a bit of damage to everything robotic, as it always has, as well as quite a few walls along the way and ceilings too. Oops. Anyway, out the pipe. And we'll see what this area is. Oh, no, we're not supposed to go through here. That's a lot of electrical disruption. I mean, we have to go through there, but when you go through there, you don't take damage, but it disrupts your beam just like the electrical orbs did in the previous Zeta Metroid fight that we saw. So, yeah, we have no access to electrics when we're through any of those obstacles, so that means that beams are off, bombs are also off, jumps, however, and everything are fine. Missiles are also disabled, so yeah, basically weapons are disabled, but movement appears okay, including the screw attack, so we'll likely have to depend on that somewhat heavily. Also, we have some kind of optional collectible here that we'll have to figure out, given that we don't have weapon access just yet. Almost think, depending on when we have to transition over to this section here. I mean, this column here, yeah, is lighter colored than the rest, so that was obviously going to give us something, although... Let's try the ceiling, actually. I just want to see what kind of material we're dealing with here. How do we powerbomb this and see what kind of terrain it reveals? Oh, right side. Okay, so we'll do that. And it's just a missile. That's okay. That's how you're supposed to do it, actually, by the looks of it, unless we had a downward shot from over here, perhaps. Which I need to be much more precise about. So we don't have a bit of diagonal movement on a D-pad that gets me into the screw attack instead. Yeah, we can't blow this up until we've disabled this field because we don't have missile access until we've done so, so let's see. But that's true at the bottom as well, so that's interesting because it tells me that we might need to powerbomb some more to see if we can maybe blow up this connecting passage if that's actually the case. But let's find out. I think powerbomb's going to be the answer. And we can at least see if there's anything that has opened up. It has not. Oh, we can screw attack the walls or something. Or we might have to backtrack and see if maybe there's an event. Look at this bit here, actually. This seems to be a tunnel or something on the right. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Actually, no, it's just a fall block followed by a missile up from here, and then that gets you the door. Okay. And Mario, congratulations on your 40-something watch streak. Really glad to continue to have your company here. Anyway, we need to bombard that, but how do I do that unless we do the charge beam bomb thing, maybe? And roll it. You know, that's almost a good idea. It just didn't work. What if I take charge beam with us? No, because it gets disabled as soon as you're in here. Oh, actually, look at that, up top. Imagine that. Just needed to check it. And watch the background art accurately, too. And this wall. So it looks purple. Maybe this gives me the gravity suit, or maybe it does something completely different to get us into a fight or something to deal with the electrical fields around us. I mean, it's purple. Surely this is a gravity suit. Gravity suit. There we go. Liquid friction eliminated. Now, I don't know if it protects me in lava in combination with Varia the way it usually does. We'll have to test it out at some point, but at least that's a bit of progression taken care of. Also notice that now we're capable of going through this with our weapons not disabled. An extra special bonus feature of the gravity suit. Which means we'll no doubt have to fight our way out of here, but it's okay, we expect that. Or maybe it'll just connect back without further difficulties. Hard to tell. I mean, this lift is going to connect downwards, and we don't know where yet. It might actually even take us all the way down into the gravity suit zone down below, and then we have to retain this. We'll find out. And indeed, it gets you into a watery area, but I guess that's why they provide a gravity suit here for anybody making this descent. So yeah, our last day was before gravity suit, so if we have a fight where we need to earn our retention of it, we'll have to find that out pretty quickly, and then we'll just try not to hit too many spikes. No, that doesn't get hit, but is it vulnerable to screw? Not really, actually. We don't want to touch that. And then this is the surface. Okay. It's all the way up. Suspiciously empty. I don't trust that. But alright. If you insist. And then it wraps around to that door on the right with the return path that we expected. Now this is telling me we should check the top with Spider, just in case something happens. Power bomb here. I mean, maybe these are just power bomb obstacles, and they indeed are. So let's blast them all. Yeah, because every time we see the flying carrier about, usually it tells me that there's something worth checking in the vicinity, but maybe that's just how we read things in the early game and it's no longer true. So I don't know if we'll really do a full 100% sweep, although we're getting reasonably close at this point, so. Okay, so this is another electrical charge that we need to kick somewhere. And it does show me where all that is, so yeah, we'll have to bomb it to send it to the left to presumably unlock another door that had previously been unpowered. That is indeed what we'll do. Okay, pretty simple cycle to work through for the gravity suit then, and then we'll just take it to where we wanted to explore with it in the first place. Alright, so pretty quick cycle here to acquire a major item. Actually, we didn't have to interact with very much there. I wonder if that was mostly there to introduce that we are no longer going to be disabled by electrical fields. But anyway, we do have to go down underwater and continue to traverse there. At some point, yeah, we have to test it against lava as well, and maybe take it down to this area when we do some kind of bigger backtrack, perhaps. All right, let's do the gravity segment then. That's pretty straightforward. That's the next destination. And I don't know if there's a faster way there that I hadn't considered, but no, we'll just go through the transport room and straight left, I think. Yeah, at this point you just cut through everything with the screw attack without too much trouble. We did most of the backtracking exploration last time, apart from a few progression blocks that we couldn't get around, but this has been opened up. And then we know that there's the Shine Spark location here that we'll need. Let's find the specific column that we need to take to jump up. Yeah, I think it's the one marked. Well, it's not really marked by anything. Let's get rid of this stuff first so we don't deal with it so much. We'll jump at this corner here. I might be off by a tile or something, but we've got plenty of running distance for the spark. Whoops. I say that when we lose all of our running distance for the spark. Let's see if we're a tile off or something. We are actually way off. I have to jump onto this column. We wavered a little too much back and forth on the way up. Oh, that's interesting, but I thought it came... Oh, yeah, no, I have to jump up this ledge. We stopped too early. That's right on this junction here. So yeah, we'll build up the spark, and then screw attack to the left, and then jump up here. Did we hit? Nope, off by about 2 tiles, so before the incline, I guess. Or maybe right up here on this spot. Just need to find a target. Oops. We'll just go back and do it. Are we on target? Almost. Hit the bottom block. I don't know if it's 2 consecutive blocks of sparking. It might be. We're probably on just this flat tile here that kind of has a subtle boundary around it. Have to be very exact. Let's see if this does the trick, and it does. Okay, next is going to be everything that was blocked off by speed booster and such things down below. And we'll have 2 Metroids to fight there somewhere along the way. Now, I don't remember which passage was which. This might have been speed booster. Indeed it is. And then, is this still speed booster? Yeah, so I don't know why we lost speed there, but we'll have to just ram through that. Oh yeah, no, okay, because I would need to... Let's demolish some blocks first with some jumping, and then we'll then be able to build up a spark and then fall in and then boost right. That'll be the way to do it. Okay, there we go. Of course, there's more. But then that just means we need to spark here and go right. It's simple enough. Okay. Might as well check the right. And then just another speed segment, so we'll run through it. I'll check bottom just in case, just so we know what we're dealing with here. Yeah, so this just wraps around to what was on the left. Okay, those are at least vulnerable to speed booster. This stuff is not the... Okay, so we had to go around the boundary anyway. Because that's still impassable. Let's take top first. Oh, there's a top passage here. This looks like it's going to just require spider. We'll check that middle passage afterwards as well, of course, but let me make sure we are clinging on to the right side of things here. Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess it just connects back to the lift we found earlier, possibly. You know what, let's just powerbomb this and not deal with having to navigate it. Yeah, actually, it does not connect, but that's okay. We'll check around a bit and then proceed. Go down carefully. screw attack is now able to take those down, which is convenient. Now, do we want to go missile first? I mean, obviously we're trying to look for something like a save station that would be nearby, so we'll poke around a little bit until we just get a lay of the land. This is going to be another speed booster segment. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to deal with either side regardless, and face off against two Metroids down here somewhere. This looks like it might be another big segment that we will go back to look at. Now, descriptive, as you said, you have a 10 stream streak, and that's as many as 1/4 of 40. Yeah, your arithmetic is impeccable. Okay, so we'll no doubt need to fight Metroids in those rooms that we skipped. So let's... oh, yeah, these are vulnerable to speed boosters, I was saying. This is supposed to be a speed booster segment by all appearances. We'll just map this out first. We'll go back to the big rooms at the first opportunity when that arises. Although... oh, this is just a transport segment that goes where? Up. We don't know where the exit point is going to be. We might as well check it before we go back. This is actually right beside the other lift passage. I wonder why we didn't see this earlier. Oh, because this is on the other side of this obstruction. So again, I kind of suspect that this is the artwork that this game is using for what will eventually be devoured by the infant. I also should check the left side wall on that, actually, because the map looks rather thin. And indeed, it's power bomb, so intuition was right here, and it's power bomb tucked behind power bomb, as we have come to expect. Okay, I guess we'll go back to that save, and then, I mean, there are two pretty clear rooms here that look like they're going to be the Metroid battles. Oh, was trying to get into speed booster there and just didn't pick up enough momentum. It's okay, we're right next to the save anyhow, so not a big deal at all. So left or right first? Well, right is closer. Let's just take it. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Oh, both of them are here actually. Okay. We actually do kind of want them trapped on a lower level because, in my experience, that actually helps. And as you can see, the electrical damage from the gammas is really no longer as relevant once you have the gravity suit. With that extra bit of electrical protection, we're not really taking nearly as much punishment as we once did from these ones. Whoop. There we go. Let's move down. Punch the other one. And we don't want to get knocked back out of the room. That would be terrible, so... And yeah, we're not really taking much damage here at all anymore, so... The undocumented electrical protection from the gravity suit was working some wonders here. So we should get the Earthshake effect from getting the Metroid count down to 0, which then leads me to wonder what was in the other room that looked like this one left, but we will have to check it. And you know what, let's hit the save first. That's the wise thing to do since it's right here. And then we need some speed booster momentum at this point. So what was going on here then? Could be something interesting and optional, perhaps? Oh, just a transport segment, another one. We will see where that goes. And once again, yeah, it looks like this is a system that we'll really have to come to know at a later point when we have the means to get rid of this stuff. Which might be very, very late game. I'm recalling how, I think in Samus Returns, the obstacles that were removed by the infant Metroid were these purple tiles instead. These crystalline purple tiles, if memory serves, and that there were some late game collectibles that were still behind that, even though at that point, you know, you're so close to the end anyhow. Alright, so yeah, we know the bottom right is similarly... Or was it? Let's just double check this. I thought it was. And then... Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of a different room actually. This is fine. We have missile over there. This is not speed booster. Let's just power bomb this to see what we're dealing with. Just standard blocks actually. We could have checked that. Interesting that we have a speed booster continuation over here, which tells me we shoot. Let me check what this is. Okay, then we just stand on this block. Okay, we build up spark and then stand on that block. That's the... that will do it. So. I see slopes and I totally think this is going to be some kind of massive shine spark puzzle. Maybe, or just a lot of platforming for now, but then we were missing a big spot on the left, so... Oh. Just gonna bumble around here for a bit. Yeah, there's a power bomb segment here. We'll take that and see if it reveals anything else. We did bypass a corner that we didn't reveal on the map, though, so that might be worth looking at still. Oh, energy tank, wonderful. And what about this stuff? Anything? Nope, it's just a dead end. That's great. And then now we blow that energy tank that we just collected by running into every spike along the way. Until we've revealed more of the map. You know what? This pipe on the left looks suspicious. I'm going to try to do a bit of a cling here on the left wall if we can get into the ball. Let's just power bomb it to see if we reveal anything. Nothing, okay. However, there is a spark possible here on this spot. So we'll take it. Let's... I totally didn't see which column it was. Let's do this again. And just map this out properly. You can see this little crack here in the artwork that... Oh, no. Right here. Right tile... Yeah, the tile right of the chest, which we're not necessarily going to see, is going to be one segment left of this one tile segment. Okay. Oops, let's not completely fall away here. One segment left of the one tile segment. There we go. All the way up for Super Missile. Let's see if there's anything else here to reveal. Seemingly not. There's a lot of connecting passages we're not seeing, of course, but we'll See, it's just part of the artwork. And brings us to 91. We've been doing the collection in this zone pretty quickly. So yeah, I don't know how viable an unguided 100% sweep is of this map, because we could be missing walls and rooms and other things off to the side in places, but we'll progress through the game and we'll see what's available, because definitely one thing that might not be immediately clear from the map here is just how much was still blocked off behind the gooey green columns that we saw earlier when we went through some of the transport system. And so that's going to be something that we need to pay attention to, perhaps, when sweeping up the rest. For now, though, we know that after getting rid of the Metroids, we should be able to descend from here. And so we will do that. I feel like maybe there was something gravity-related that we could also have dealt with at that point, but not yet. And again, we still have no idea what to do with the hard blocks, seemingly, that were up in the top corner, so let's go. Oh, and by let's go I mean, didn't this connect up top, or was I just missing something here? Let's see what this was. Oh yeah, sparks everywhere. Okay, let's build up some speed and then just punch through it. Except we need to build up over here. And we'll pass through this way. Ah, yes, okay. And then this is the area where you need to spark left. It may be easier to just take the bottom passage, actually. Nope, except we run into that. Yeah, forgot about that. Never mind, we do in fact need to spark way up. Well, you know what, let's get into the run. One here, except we can just spark at a... Oh, or just, you know, jump it better, I guess. Some consecutive jumps. And then, yeah, we should actually just stop and then spark left. Oh, whoops, no, left. Have to get on that platform first, of course. There we go. That's more like it. Now, probably... let's double back and hit a save before the descent. We don't quite know how much is in store over there, so... just to be extra cautious. Oops. That was a bit of a mess here. That's okay. I mean, we know we have one energy tank unaccounted for in one of the earliest zones, and to make everything line up artistically, presumably there will be a second one beyond that as well. So I have a nice 5x2 energy grid up top. Okay. Down and to the left. Now that we're actually able to exit this. Except we can't get through this. But then it looks like there's a clear passage up top, isn't it? Let's see here. Okay, that's interesting. Well, this is telling me to check. See what's around here, possibly. Well, I mean, this is our first time back out of that whole passage. We're gonna power bomb this area just to check tiles. Maybe do likewise down in that other location as well, just in case there's a way to go around what we're seeing here. Oh, yeah, fall blocks down here. Okay, so that's not the way forward then. However, we have the warp system, and so we can get out of here at any point just by taking the transport system back out. And the way we would go is to this segment to the left, back over to the power station area. We'll just make our way back to the transport hub up top. That will be the continuation. Yeah, first lift to the left, and then that'll be the way. Also, did I ever check what this bit here was about? No. I also think that this single tile cavity to the left looks awfully suspicious because it's a single tile, and, you know, you see something on a map like that, it's probably worth checking. I'd have to check it from another angle of approach, though. In fact, let's wrap around the top save and just check that from the other side. That's too suspicious that we just have a single tile vacancy there in this otherwise very intricate structure. Alright, let's check everything. It's not go from below. It just looks so suspicious. Okay, I guess there's no entry into that tile after all. That's okay. Anyway, at this point, we will try to approach the descent from this side. After filling up those power bombs that have now been so thoroughly expanded. Let's see what we had to map out here. I'm going low. We'll check the right side first if we can, just to see if we can figure out how things were supposed to connect on the other side of the green blob, so we'll go there first. Just to map it properly. And yeah, this just connects to this side here. I don't see much else that we can work with from the side, but just blocks you off formally. And this was where we fell in originally, and so we don't want to take that because obviously we have to do this whole loop once again. So we'll descend the only way we can until we come to the next environmental scan, no doubt. Another blob. However, oh, whoops, didn't get to see if it had actually revealed any tiles. Let's see. Nope, not allowed to go through. Let's get out. Well, not seeing any passages. I have to study this pretty closely here to see where to exit. Unless it was just supposed to super missile those all along or something, which actually we should just try it. No. Absolutely not. But I don't see any blocks to cover over there, so we absolutely need to rethink. I mean, if not there, where else is there on the map that we haven't dealt with? All the way back up and above the ship, I suppose, but couldn't possibly be that, or could it? Given that we have screw attack, space jump, etc. Or maybe it was something else down below, which has now been revealed by gravity and power bomb. Yeah, there might be something else actually in the lower segment in the power station that might have been relevant to the gravity suit that I don't remember. Where the lava level had gone down. We should actually check that, because this looks very formally blocked at the moment. But it may be the return path after the LA sequence. I'm not sure, because, you know, obviously something is going to at some point send us through this passage. It may even be a descent from this side, crossing over the lift and coming back up through here. But the reason I don't think so is simply because we're familiar with the whole ascent in the original format coming up on the left. So maybe we had some assumptions baked in there that are not necessarily going to hold. I don't know, that's curious though. But we need to go back and check. There are a few locations where this game does that, where it blocks you with one thing, in this case the power bomb, and then blocks you with another thing, like the gravity suit, and then you just kind of hit one obstacle after another and you realize you still can't actually progress through. The gate's stacked behind several progression locks. Let's make the descent back down. I don't know if that would be it though, given that the descent was where we had escaped previously from the whole detonation sequence down low. And we returned there for an energy tank, but there was nothing else there to really return to. I'm just trying to think about where else we might not have inspected that might be relevant here. It does seem strange that we kind of hit that obstacle and not find some kind of detour around. So I'm considering alternatives for sure. In case there's something critical that we've missed about this. Like some kind of vital item that will get us through. I think we need to be diligent about this. We do need to check the left side here, but like on the return passage to where everything was destroyed. But I actually currently can't see how that would be where we push forward. So there's probably just something that we're misreading or not understanding about the blob. The purple blob that is different from the green blobs in its own small way. The lava was all taken down in this area. This was a power bomb area that we'd already checked. Maybe we can break the lift in the middle and take... Like, maybe we can go down the lift passage and then break our way over to that central tile. Because that's very much in keeping with other classic Metroid moments that involve breaking out of lifts and tubes. It's a very common occurrence in this series, actually. So... Now, I seem to recall when we came down to get that extra energy tank, I don't know if there is a way back down past this point, but I thought there might be. Let's get up and try the other passage and see. This is too high. Yeah, you see something's going on here. This keeps going. But then this stops, and I thought this was where we got the energy tank before. No, it isn't, because we continued through this passage. And then we got all the bonuses here, but then... Yeah, this was where we got the E-tank. And then... Where would you proceed from here? I don't think you can. So I think we're just missing something about the central room or all of these central rooms, and we need to get back there to check it properly. Unless there's anything else with Gravity's suit that I hadn't thought about. Again, at this point the game kind of expects you to have access to a great deal of the map through the lift system, and so maybe there's some backtrack from there that we hadn't really considered. The unmapped part where you see on the right side of the map there, that was a lot of lava flooring originally when we were there, and I didn't see that would continue anywhere, but, you know, to be absolutely thorough about combing the map, maybe that's worth a check. Same with just the original area above the ship. We want a screw attack around there. That would be unlikely to be a gravity suit lock, but... Well, let's think about it. Nice to get lost in one of these. Although, you know what? While we're here, let's just power bomb this area in case there's any kind of continuation of descent. It does not appear to be. Yeah, no, this was just getting you the power up that was on the right. With the Shine Spark and Super Missile, we've done that already last time. So nothing to see there. So yeah, I don't think this will be the way then. Let's back out. I think I need to inspect the room that was blocking us one more time before backing out so easily and running around the rest of the map. We need to figure out where else... Oh, this is new. No, this is not new. This is just taking you back to this warp passage here. So we'd seen that before. Because we came out that way. However, we should check here in this area anyway, just in case there's a way to descend down below and get us further down into the caverns. It doesn't appear to be, but this was worth checking, just in case. I mean, you know, you see suspicious looking tiles from time to time. Yeah, we might be missing something just very subtle about the descent through here. Would it really lead you all the way down here just to block you with that wall? Without some kind of alternative passage around that is actually nearby. It looks too suspicious. And so I feel like maybe there's something we could be missing here. Yeah, we can't get through that wall, but Power Bomb doesn't reveal any tiles either. Power Bomb we had tried here as well previously. About just check a little of everything and until we see a clear visual signifier. Curious. I mean, since the last time we were here, lava has kind of been peeled off of this area as well, as I don't know. Maybe there was something to look at. So, I mean, getting over to the right side of here, well, it doesn't appear to progress. I mean, we took a bit of a detour to come here in the first place because it seems like the place you're expected to check would just be right side. We should go back to this central segment because one thing that Gravity 2 does get me is maybe the ability to find something else like a speed booster gate that would take us through the bottom corner going left. That's through. Because we took a big detour this way that might have just been unnecessary to begin with. So we come back here and lock ourselves to this end. Let's check this bit by bit, but then maybe check the bottom left of this room a bit more carefully, because another gravity lock behind underwater speed booster could actually be what is in effect here. Did that open up anything? Not really, it just blew up a lot of the local aquatic wildlife. Well, let's continue to go low and see if maybe we missed something on the left side anywhere here that would allow us to press further. Okay, so let's think about this. We got Gravity Suit. We came back, looped back to the save, got this power up, and then we started hitting all of those hard blocks that we can't get around. Now, a couple of things could be implied here. It could be implied that we should be backtracking with the speed booster. Maybe there was something Gravity Suit related that I just don't remember in some other segment that had previously not yet been trained. Yeah, it could just be a memory thing where I just don't recall where the other gravity suit relevant location actually was. Well, if we're doing that anyway, let's see. I'm actually kind of tempted to just backtrack to the ship. It's not going to be that. That's not going to be the solution, as it were, but it might be worth checking anyway for some distantly placed power-up. But yeah, we've been blocked like so many different ways in the central passage. Clearly it's going to connect through here, but is this the return path perhaps, and we're supposed to go out the left instead? Anything is possible. Alright, let's go back then. Hope it's not just I'm missing one relevant tile here that would have gotten us to circumvent everything blocking us here. Because clearly, you know, this escape here, getting out this way is locked behind gravity suit. This still looks like some kind of clue. Getting back here again is locked behind gravity. We know how to get back to the left side already, so it's not going to be anything like that. I mean, is it significant that the other one is purple? I don't know. Let's weave around and find out. I guess this is what happens when you don't take the time to mark the map. I actually just have no recollection of what else might be relevant to the gravity suit at this point. Yeah, because this passage opened up. Supposing we returned up to this top spot here, that seems like it's maybe the easiest return path. Up to the ship if we want to go for that idea, just to see if maybe there's one little expansion that's tucked up high above it or something, just in case the player is tempted to check. And since we're here, yeah, we'll see about some of this stuff. I mean, last time we were here, we didn't. Yeah, well, we still know how to get rid of this. I mean, we have power bombs now. We have super missiles. Nothing works. We've used most of our power bombs as well, so that's an incentive to take a save on our way over. It's a very similar obstruction to the energy tank up top. Oh, hey, wait a minute. This is new. Or is it? Or was this just part of the interaction? No. Okay. So energy tank. Oh, okay. So, alright. So that was actually accessible along. So you can't actually blow up the blocks, you have to move them somehow. That tells me that we should check the one above it as well. That was accessible all this time. So yeah, something else is going to move this. That's some kind of switch, perhaps. Oh, all this stuff. Okay, you just needed a spacer, and I don't know if that was locked behind plasma or something, but alright, that's the energy tank sorted out all at once. We just didn't even think to try that previously, not having noticed the orbs. That might even be it for E-tanks, unless there are 12 rather than 10, but we're at 93% on the map at this point. And might spend much of the rest of the adventure just trying to figure out how to progress past that one seemingly strict obstruction that we've encountered. We better save this stuff, actually. Well, that's all the power-ups that we know about. And of course, it's just a matter of trying to solve this mystery now of how to push through that zone. Let's go back to the ship. For lack of more inspiration. Maybe it's an obvious location, and we just don't remember where I ran into something underwater that obstructed my movement previously. Activating devices to move blocks. Imagine that. It was just staring at us all this time. So yeah, one of the energy tanks seemed locked behind spacer, but the other one, I think, would have just been accessible very early just from zapping the power switch on it. I'm just thinking about the progression at this point, that we were able to exit this area at any time, even without the gravity suit, because of course we had the transport hub. But then if this central passage was first locked behind power bomb, then how was it secondarily locked behind gravity suit? We need to think about maybe these connecting passages in the middle here. What can we interact with here that might have pushed us down below that was in any kind of space that absolutely required the gravity suit to get through? Maybe that should be the way we're approaching it, because I feel like I definitely just missed some spot here. Somewhere in that area in the middle, and yeah, we just don't know what to do with that yet. Anyway, let's go back to the ship. Check above it, just to map things out. And be very, very thorough. We'll need to do the escort path at some point anyway. It's certainly quite possible that some power-up will just be tucked away in the top corner. Yeah, you do take a little bit of chip damage to deter you from trying to leave orbit. There's a point of damage on the boundary. We're going to check everything anyway. Oh, look at that. We found something up above. Oh yeah, this is the cliff overlooking the ship, which is where you fight Proteus Ridley in Samus Returns. Now, I know that Proteus Ridley, which I think I mistakenly referred to as Mecha Ridley in a previous stream, confusing him with another iteration. It was something that I note had been added in Samus Returns, and so I'm not expecting anything similar to him in the finale sequence here, but this game has been full of some convergent surprises, and of course the development of AM2R continued with this version releasing in 2020 past the release of Samus Returns, and you never know what else they might have put in. I think actually with Samus Returns I did something similar as well, where I did check this area behind a ship before discovering that it was formally blocked off because it was set up as the return path in the finale. Look at that, it totally looks like there's something on the right side there. We'll check the whole landscape. Ah, okay, so this is the kind of obstruction that is removed by the Metroid. Similar to the kind of tile-based crystalline art in the original as well, which, again, in Samus Returns it appears as purple. So that's how we know that's the exit on the return path. That's going to be all the way over here. As expected, we're probably going to, again, cross over and do the big climb. That does not explain to me how we're going to deal with the obstructions in the water, because I've tried much of my arsenal against that and found it ineffective. So there's something I'm missing about how to peel those away that maybe we just didn't try properly. Like maybe there's a simple thing like the charge beam or something, or some other way to interact with them that we just hadn't considered. But yeah, this is going to be the return path then, and at least we now have confirmation of how the things locked behind the baby Metroid in terms of the crystals that it needs to devour are actually laid out on a map. But I just don't know what to do then with those various green membranes. I actually wonder if we should have checked if they were vulnerable to speed booster or something. No, we had checked that. We had just run into those and found them to be a strict obstruction, so I guess we have to go back down to that area and just poke around some more and see if we just reveal the block or other interactions that I'm missing on there. Okay, in that case, let's figure out what to check next. I think we just have to go down to that area again. I just can't think of what else was below the water or lava level previously that we still needed to poke around. So it's just some kind of mechanic that I don't understand, perhaps. And perhaps I already have the means to take away all those obstructions and didn't know it. Although I don't think so. Like the zone layout here with the gravity suit only makes sense if you think about running into those obstructions and having to go around them. That design-wise only makes sense in that context. So it is not clear to me how to progress. The only thing that jumps out at me being that the obstruction down here was purple rather than green, and maybe that makes some significant difference that we haven't properly considered. Anyway, let's get back to where we were. Part of me wants to reveal the one and only spot that we haven't revealed on the map, strictly speaking, which is the one down here. It is a bit of a long road to get there, though. I'm just figuring out how that will go. Yeah, we've got lots of movement available, and maybe we can do something with that. So yeah, power bomb didn't work, super missile didn't work. Couldn't really find a way to go around. There's a lot that we just flatly did not figure out with that. From here, yeah, we will... see, go right, connector to save, yeah. I bet I'm just missing something very silly. Looks too much like that's the case. And how do we want to descend over there? We'll take the right side path. Screw attack at least makes everything really convenient to get through. Unless, of course, you hit speed booster over here and have to deal with it. Or take the super missile alternative down, I guess. Yeah. All this territory we covered previously. Then we'll see how to connect all the way to the right. Okay, down to the bottom, then to the bottom edge. Lights are still off down here. Oh, and then we'll continue back over here. If we can. Without bumping into everything. This was the area with the super missile puzzle. You know what, let's just power bomb it. I don't remember what we did here, so I'm gonna fuss with it too much. There's probably nothing in the spot that I'm checking. I just want to make sure we're absolutely thorough about the map sweep, just in case it does turn out to be something. Because I think on a failed attempt I had in fact mapped it anyway. Oh yeah, no, not here. This doesn't let you go to the right. Okay, so we actually hit a dead end here anyway. Oh, right, because this whole left side segment in the dark was actually completely segregated off from the right side. So we actually just took a big diversion necessarily. Unnecessarily, rather. Yeah, I forgot that this place is actually completely segmented off from the room that I'm trying to go back to check. It feels like at this point we probably have every progression tool we need, which just makes me wonder, what is it we're missing about the gate we couldn't get through? Some kind of other switch or trigger based interaction, I guess. that we just didn't manage to reveal. Well, I just have to go back and try it. I don't think this is a case of a backtrack this big across the whole map or anything. I think we just missed the interaction. And didn't understand how it was supposed to work. Let's just get back out of here then. And yeah, we actually needed to go to the top segment to do that. But that's okay, because once we check that room, we can go to the teleport area on the way out. So we're kind of unnecessarily backtracking through a lot of this stuff just to, you know, fill in one spot on the map. But who knows, maybe we'll learn something on the way. Oh, also, was there something up top here? I don't think so. I think we checked that previously, but... Whoop. What? Fireball, cooperate. Spiderball's not cooperating. Okay, that's fine. I think I checked this previously and there was nothing. Okay. Right, this was actually all speed booster here, and we just never did it that way. Okay, in terms of the descent, we will see what makes sense here. Backtracking through a whole maze. I guess... Well, in the worst case, we know what the connecting passage will be. Through the lift system. I'm just trying to look at this and see if I can remember. Oh, it was we got to the other side, saved, station, then down and to the right. Yeah, okay. It's okay, at least we'll be able to take the fast travel passage on the way back out. Fairly easily. Did I say to the right? To the right. Let's go back. Totally missed exactly what I was talking about. This door up here, where we fell past. Rather carelessly. Those were annoying once. But now we demolished them easily. Alright, this was speed booster here, I think. Okay, we in fact just need to go through. And through here as well. Again, I'm not expecting to discover anything by going where I'm trying to go here. Backtracking through half the map just to fill in a blank space. You never know this, though this kind of thing can pay off. I just don't think it will, because I believe we actually had scouted that spot visually before. But yeah, on the way back, we'll just take the transport station back out. And then make another attempt at figuring out that bottom area that's been obstructing us. I don't think we're supposed to have the weaponry to take out the organic blocking pieces that we've been having issues with. But there is lava here. We can check for one thing. Okay, so this is something Gravity Suit does get you, incidentally. I mean, first of all, we are, as expected, completely protected from damage now. But I'm wondering if there was another lava segment that we neglected earlier, which is now accessible by Gravity Suit, which I've just forgotten. I feel like there was one originally around the power station area, but we have drained all of that since. But I wonder if there was some other spot along the descent where we're now able to traverse. Might even be at one of those travel hub points. I don't know. We have to go back there and check. It's just a little bit puzzling here. But anyway, no power-ups revealed on the grid, so at long last, after a very lengthy diversion to try to get to the spot, we have in fact checked it. It has been our one and only opportunity to verify so far that the Gravity Suit and lava is in fact going to work the same way it usually does. Because we actually haven't found lava cooling below anywhere else anymore at our current stage of progress. Okay, we need to get out of here. Actually, yeah, no, it was through the upper return path that I think was actually easier. Oops. Here we are. Okay, so we'll go to the travel hub. That's left and below the save station. Not remember what gets us past here. There we go. No, this is just a dead end, right? Or wait, then how do we get back out of here? Oh yeah, so never mind. Wrong way. Went through the wrong column for some of this stuff. Wait, then how do we get down here? Left and then up. Here we go. And then we have to deal with all the shine sparking here and there. We'll need to charge it up from the next room. Okay, whoops. Now we'll just get over this in spectacularly fumbly fashion. Up and back down to the left. Well, we at least got those 2 energy tanks ahead. Actually been available much earlier than I originally thought. Also, you're right, the screw attack spot to the right, that gets you through to the transportation center. And we'll take that. Okay, at this point, I don't know if there was something maybe in the underwater zone in the bottom right that we had missed that might give you some kind of tool to get through that obstruction. We need to check it again, though. We are absolutely missing something. But actually, one spot I want to double check. It's at the other transport connector down below. We had been here not long ago. But it still behooves us to check here just in case that... Yeah, I think I had actually tried to power bomb this area to reveal any tiles, and we revealed nothing, but... And this sends you back up here. I wonder, actually, the pool on the left side here, if that was still something that had some pooled lava below. Did I check that earlier? I don't know. Because this is naturally a connection point that we, I think, to inspect. Let me go back and check. Actually, we were just here, but we'll do it again. Well, no, we weren't here specifically. We were close by, though. So yeah, let's check the left side. Because definitely the presence of these doors giving you power-ups was something new that we had previously already backtracked to, but what I didn't do was check further below to see if maybe there's a gravity suit segment that opens up around some of these Metroid pits. If there was, for instance, still lava below them. For example, in the next room, if we go all the way down to the bottom, what are we at? Nothing. And okay, so no, we had checked that previously when we were actually fighting here. So that's a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, there's just something I've maybe neglecting to try, which might be very, very simple at the gate where we turn back. So tantalizingly close to the end, too, with the 6 Metroids remaining and 93% and a very clear course of action to just loop through here and back up. And it looks so obvious what's about to happen, and of course we just hit a wall with this all of a sudden. Then I think I'm clearly not thinking through in the intended way. How do we get back there again? Let me inspect this for a moment. Let's take it down below. Well, going through water here is something that was gravity blocked. That's actually kind of important, potentially. maybe. What do we try to just run through here, for instance? This seems awfully suspicious, all of a sudden. That gravity suit could very well be blocking something relevant in this location, but nope, does not seem so. Looked a little suspicious though. Okay, so this is the obstacle we're hitting. We need to take another look at this. Maybe check more walls on the way down. So power bomb blocks you off initially, and then you get into this spot here at this junction, and then we can't seem to continue once we down below. Now, is it true, or is it because we just missed some tile that allows us to go around, which is actually the issue that I had with that one particular return path in this zone, I think, where I thought I was blocked off by Speed Booster, and then I was actually just missing a simple, more small passage that was available all that time. What do we just let this stuff glom onto us? No, that can't be right. No, it absolutely just blocks me out. We know it's not on the other side, too. I wonder if we're missing something like an ice missile or something that would freeze that stuff, but if we were, where would we have not pressed before? We've seen a couple of locations where we're blocked off by those obstructions now, and I'm just trying to think about what they would have in common, like something that we might have neglected to check. Some reason. So, for example, you know, in this bottom middle passage here, what is even the purpose of having one there when you can just go around it? What's the implication of Speed Booster? It's not. You know what? Let's try a few things. Let's check the logbook in case they appear there. That just gives you the planet, but what about anything else here? Hostiles. Nope. Something like that. It's just a bosses. However, native species. Nope, that's just a general entry. Maybe it had something to do with one of those electric orbs that we passed by that we needed to use to power something on. Haven't been able to reveal anything, so... Then why would it lead you down there just to hit that obstruction? Like, what is that trying to clue me into doing? Yeah, these are just 4 blocks to send you down and then back to the other side. So maybe there's some kind of gravity suit related interaction that we need to do here. I absolutely do not see it. We know that we were able to come back here. Let's check the waterborne area below again as well. In case we're revealing any passages here, we're not. So perhaps there's this passage down here because it's supposed to reveal something to us. That we might not otherwise have considered. Because, yeah, ordinarily you would think, okay, you come down here, you get blocked by this, you have to turn back, you have to go around. Then why is that ramp still obstructed? Then I really don't think it's necessarily going to be any of that. I mean, maybe we have to get inside one of those and drop a bomb inside it. And even if it doesn't work on these green ones, we can try it with a purple one. Like, get trapped inside. No, it's not that. There's just some interaction with that obstruction that we just don't get. I don't know what I'm missing. Let's take a look at the Samus diagram, actually. This is an idea. So we're missing a beam, still. Possibly we're just missing a beam. And we just need to look at a map to see where that could possibly be that would be guarded behind gravity suit. Maybe for all the back and forth that we had in this area here, that we missed something that we could actually have bypassed, like with all the little transport zones going back and forth, and perhaps there was one area there that had something gravity locked that I just did not remember, and then that gives you the beam to get through. So yeah, we're missing one beam. it makes sense perhaps for that to be the issue here. So let's check all of the passages that seem to be blocked by the different lift segments within the zone. Maybe there is something to that. There's still some wide open areas around here, for instance, like if we get below this segment. So for example, if we go right and then up, well, let's see. Right, this was just where the fight was, with all the electrical disruption. So yeah, previously we were able to screw attack through some of this as well to reveal what was up above. Eradicate a lot of the stuff along the walls. Doesn't really reveal any passages though. And this was return path to the hub, but if we go right, then yeah, actually we hit a couple of dead ends. The first time we were following the various connected passages. And we should recheck those. Okay, so this one hits you here. But then we previously mapped to the left side of it because we connected from back up from below it. Now we're able to connect through any of these at this point. This one just gets you to the other side of here. And this connects below. Screw attack as we saw earlier. I'm just thinking about the return path that we had when we had the gravity suit earlier. Maybe we should check the right side again. I don't know if that makes sense though. Like we basically had this straightforward sequence where we take the gravity suit, go out to the right side, come back up. And what do we naturally check after that? Well, the first thing is that we took out the remaining Metroids. That lowers the fluid level, but then now we're just blocked. Straight up blocked. So the last thing that we actually interacted with was lowering the fluid level. And what does that give us? I feel like there's a memory dependent thing going on here where we're supposed to recall what room was also affected other than, you know, the tunnel down low opening up. Unless, again, that there's just some interaction with it that I am just completely blanking on. But there's so many obstructions here in this area that are of the same kind. And we know from the chart that we're missing one beam. That I'm kind of thinking we have to scope the map for a beam upgrade that was for some reason locked behind gravity suit, and I can't imagine what that is. I don't see where that is happening, and it's, yeah, very unclear to me what we should even be checking. Let me think about this, because when we came down here, what were we missing other than gravity suits? Did we pick up anything on the way that we did not have available earlier? Well, we had power bomb before we had the whole transport hub sequence over here. And then yeah, I really don't know. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to map this out and figure out how we managed to get around some of these areas in the first place. I think we got to the lower save. So yeah, a lot of this was filled in today. I'm just trying to figure out. We originally progressed through here, top right, or middle right rather, went down, did the whole gravity suit segment, came back up. What did we fail to check? Yeah, this really feels like a distant memory check of some sort, and I just cannot place what it could be. I think maybe we should check the watery area on the right again, just in case. Very odd place to get stuck. So this is where we log that off. Open this to open the return passage. But was there more we were supposed to scan in the water segment? Down below, let's find out. I feel like I checked a lot of this. Because this was just a platforming or, you know, screw attack test segment over here. So what even happened here other than just obtaining the gravity suit? Like, we get the gravity suit, we loop, we come down, we loop back up. There's nothing else going on in this area. Absolutely nothing else. Just a linear wraparound sequence. Surprisingly empty, actually. Suspiciously empty, which is why we come back and check this a few times. We came up here, got the power bomb to the left. Came up here. Unlock this gate. Gives you access to the save, and then what? What was this room to the left? Let's check this. Gives you power. we powered this on already. That was just earlier in the entire segment. We progressed over here in the first place last time. I don't know that it's relevant to anything else. Just trying to figure this out. I want to check a few things again. Down in the gravity suit segment down below, there's one thing there that I was assuming was blocked by perhaps the beam that we're missing, which we should recheck. Okay, let's go back out to the left side then. So the current theory is we're missing a beam. And that's also required to progress alongside the gravity suit. We'll see how accurate any of that is in just a moment. But yeah, at this point, when you come down here, then you do require the gravity suit to play it gracefully. Then how is that locking off our progression? Well, let's see. Because... oh, let's spark over here properly. We did check this a few times. Nothing there in terms of breakable materials. So we now know that this is an obstruction on the left, but we go up this way. So this is my theory. It's that we previously went through this room and found a whole lot of nothing, except for the access to the lift on the left. That's suspicious to me. I think that actually, maybe when we saw an obstruction here earlier, there's a way to get around this in a way that gets you the beam that we need to progress. And indeed, that's it. That's what we were missing the whole time. Yeah, that's exactly it. Wow, that took a while. Took about an hour to just find this thing, from remembering to come back and check it. And it is in fact ice. To reach those. That I also vaguely remember from Samus Returns, actually, that you get such a late ice beam to reach this stuff and blow it up. Okay, finally we can progress in the game. It took me so long to look back and find, because, yeah, we had gone through this, and then we'd seen this obstacle, and I thought, oh, okay, it's just another one of these, let's turn back. And I did not correctly reason that it places that obstacle in front of you because that's the kind of tutorial for what you use to get past it. And then we did the whole awkward thing with doing speed booster on the return path and didn't use this bottom segment here. And if I had actually thought about that properly, we would have figured this out an hour ago. But that's okay. That's... oh. And we haven't saved in a long time, incidentally, so let's take a look at this. Saris, fastest animal on SR 388. When it moves to a new location, it takes passages to channeled water. Okay. Anyway. Oh, missiles available on some of the platforms, or at least... Okay, so... Yeah, platforms are taken up by missiles. I don't know if we're supposed to use that to our advantage, but... Definitely, it will also take platforms out. So we'll just come over here and shoot it. Yeah, this was a very suspicious room to begin with, and the fact that we barely used it, should clue me in. Anyway, we have a couple of ice segments. We're supposed to freeze and go missile against it, actually. Yeah, we're freezing all those segments, but we need to blast them. Oh. Yeah, it is rather quick. Actually, the game's kind of slowing down on me a little bit here. I don't know if it's bottlenecked by anything on my end, but yeah, maybe we do need to just successfully use the whole thing, and then yeah, all these missile platforms are kind of implying to me that we should be using missiles to blast it once frozen. But again, we see some of the yellow parts revealed on it now that seem like vulnerable, but we have had some trouble doing this. And yeah, so those parts are vulnerable since we've kind of removed the casing. Okay, we've got lots of energy to work with here. Yeah, the performance is a little bit sluggish in this area, but I don't know if that's inherent to the game. We're just finding this more computationally taxing than I expected. But yeah, the ice kind of slows down a little bit. I think maybe that's the idea that we can actually shoot it or so. Now, let's be careful here because, again, it's been a long time since my last save. I don't even remember what it was. But at least we know where to go now. Feels like we maybe need to blast it all around here. Yeah, we can still kind of freeze it up a little bit here, then trying to go ice missile combo against it, but it's not really working out. Okay, we got it eventually. Wasn't too bad, actually. Helps that we took the time to get all those energy tanks while fumbling around the map. Okay, we definitely want to hit a save as soon as we can, and then, okay, now we can actually progress through the game properly. Open up a couple of connection points that were previously unavailable. Yeah, I should have reasoned my way to the solution there much earlier, but I think we just kind of blanked on that particular tile on the map once I turned back from it and thought that we'd just have to come back later. But in retrospect, it should have been obvious that we should have checked that much more thoroughly than we did. Okay, in terms of getting out of here, I guess we'll go left, and then, yeah, now we're able to break out the passage That is past that point. Ice missile over here. Ice plus missile, rather. And this takes you straight back to the save. And now we can actually play. Well, it gave us an excuse to be pretty thorough about everything that we've seen on the map up to this point. Even if we spent too long missing the obvious there. I think in some sense I didn't expect ice to be so close to our previous progression item, which was gravity, but easy to forget how pacey these games really are sometimes. Alright, we can go straight left and then through the water to standard way. Or we could fast travel over to the hub on the left. No, I think we'll just do this. Just fumble through it. Especially because now we know what to do. And yeah, I should have remembered the ice interaction with those columns as well from the other remake. The other remake. It's okay, it could have been worse. Could have been like that bit on our first day with Prime 4 where I just went back and forth the same corridor for an hour or two because we didn't read the manual about the psychic bomb. Okay, conveniently placed save station. And let's get into the next area. Very speed booster friendly area here actually, but we're not really demonstrating that. However, there is something that we should be grabbing here. There's probably in the lava or something. We'll bomb everything here. It is in fact speed booster, and the thing is, it looks like ball spark, but ball spark in a very specific location, like here. Oh no, ball spark. Okay, it sends you up one tile. We need to remember that. Oops. No, we know we can build it here. We just did it. There's the missile. Which is at 95. And then this is the area that connects through the lift that we passed by quite some time ago. Along the escape. And look at the background here. That was really quite striking. Arrive in this zone. Anyway, we can just screw attack with everything though, so, you know, nothing is really in our way at this point. However, there is something to check in this area. Power bomb just solves so much when it comes to discovering things. map. And then, well, now we know what to do with this stuff. Well, grab what we can, then again, screw attack solves everything. We'll check upwards first, actually. Although, yeah, at this point, it's scanning the environment. It's preparing us for the climb. Given that it is going to be a climb, I think we try left side first. One Metroid detected in the area. Okay, that'll be something we need to deal with shortly. However, we need to figure out how to actually get through this passage. Unless we have to defeat the Metroid to lower the level over here to reveal the way forward, which actually looks like it might be the case. I think we are kind of hard locked here until we defeat the Metroid first. So let's head up and do that. Left to right, let's check right. And let's check left, just so we know what we're dealing with. This continues going up. Alright, let's go this way then. Save station tells me we're getting into a fight soon, perhaps. We'll check some tiles every now and then just to be diligent about it. Oh, just one. Okay, just one little gamma. Wait, we have ice. We have ice, and it totally doesn't work against these guys. They're too evolved. But we don't take that much punishment from them anymore now that we've got gravity suit going, so. Get that one out, and then we sink down below. Yeah, so you can loop through here either way and then send yourself back. Lava's still here though. However, it's going to give me another scan for another Metroid that has appeared. Which will not be here, but yeah, things have moved around a little bit, I guess, in the course of the ground shaking its way down. Well, let's see. Need to shake it a little further, I suppose. Maybe even loop back and see what else has appeared. It could be that in the room where we just fought the gamma, that's where we loop back and just faced a more evolved form. Or, oh, no, this actually opens up above. We didn't consider that. Didn't even look at it. And, oh, look at that. Galactic Federation decided to play here a bit. And here's the Omega. Apex Predator of SR388. And yeah, it's quickly dispatching the combatants that had survived so long just to be a few minutes off of Samus coming in to rescue them. So we'll see about the dodging pattern when it sprays fire everywhere. That's going to be critical, I'm sure. Okay. Oh, whoa, that's quite the stomp. And yeah. Okay, we need to get around it somehow, but I'm totally trapped. Yeah, because the ground stomp actually stun locks you a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so we need to basically jump when it jumps. Taking a lot of punishment here, actually. Oh. Not quite working out because my angle of approach is just wrong. Yeah, you do need to do a little bit of jumping. Go missile on the way down. And skip the stun lock when it lands. Pattern's not too bad, actually. But it does just deal a lot of punishment. And of course, Powerbomb will not do the trick here. Do need to actually hit the target. Okay. And yeah, the ground just shakes every time it lands, and so see down and done. And standing back here, it doesn't seem to be doing the trick either, so. Okay, we're still good on missiles at least. In terms of the counts, but not good on health. Oh, yeah, we're just trapped in the corner every time, so. Okay, not doing good on health. Have to start going for those 18 super missiles soon to make a bit of a desperation play if we trust our aim. I don't trust my aim. We're going to lose. No, just trapped here. Oh, there's a slot on the right side where we could potentially get around. Like maybe we can get out to the bomb slot on the right and or the morph ball slot on the right. And escape it that way, but we will have to redo this one. That's okay, at least we know about a stun now. We at least have some idea of what to expect, and we did loop down here before proceeding upwards, so. Yeah, 5 Metros remain we'll deal with. More than just one Omega, as I recall. Or as I expect. So there is a sort of passage that will allow the ball to get you out the right side of it. I don't know if that will actually just hit a dead end or actually give you some kind of alternate escape from the fight, but we do need to look at it properly. Okay, so jump when it jumps. and try to go over it. Yeah, the problem with the space jump and screw attack mechanics is that it's actually really difficult to get over something this tall. That's been an issue in several places here. Sometimes you just can't get over something if it corners you. At least not without rather precise timing. Okay, but let's say we go around. Let's say we go around before killing it. Maybe we are able to do something here. There are no survivors among the search and rescue team that was sent down here to locate the research team. Well, there are no survivors now. I mean, a few minutes earlier, if we hadn't dawdled around here for so long looking for the ice beam, maybe they would have lived. Well, Samus just had to backtrack over the entire map to figure out what to do to get here in the first place. Here we are. Yeah, we can mitigate damage reasonably. Be able to do this. We don't want to get cornered, so if it's stripping to push us towards the end, we want to get over it before we're bunched up against the wall. Nope. Yeah, Power Bomb didn't do much of anything for me, so we'll not pursue that. Oh, stood a little too close. Didn't spray that far though, compared to the Omega pattern in Samus Returns from what I distantly remember. Yeah, now we've been cornered, and then now we just take tons of punishment from getting stuck. At least we get cornered in this end, we can escape into the Morphball passage, but we don't want to reset the fight by accident, so we don't want to depend on that too much. Just missing. Yeah, you see the thing is it's like a tile up from what we need to hit it, and so it's not even like we can stand and shoot with the missile. We actually have to do like this minor jump that is exactly accurate. Get a little tap jump here in order to hit the target, which is its own little source of difficulty. Kind of need to continue jumping around so much just to hit the thing. Very difficult to hit the target, actually. Which is why I'm not going super missile, because it might be a little bit wasteful if we can't reliably shoot this. But once we get desperate, like when we get low on tanks, we'll start dumping super missiles and hopefully not missing every single one of them. Yeah, you see, most of these are not hitting, so... Okay, you know what, let's switch. We can just fire accurately some of the time, like every single one of these is whiffing, so... Nope, couldn't get around. Get around, and then stunned on the ground. Then... Okay, there we go. Super Missile actually solved the problem. In the end, that was rough. That was very, very rough. But maybe we go back down to the safe station and we can continue below. Until it scans the environment and finds another one. And, Dr. Cliche, you're saying it's the Kang Molroid, half kangaroo rat, half naked mole rat, half Metroid. Isn't it 3 halves? Isn't it 150% Metroid? It is the Omega Metroid, so I think that adds up. really contributing to Team Metroid here, giving it 150%. I mean, even Hollow Knight only wanted to go up to 112%. Yeah, just like the man, bear, pig you're saying, yeah. All adds up. Okay. Okay, let's ice this thing. I said let's ice this thing. Let's maybe fire the correct weapon. Scanning the whole map just in case we see any power-up dots anywhere, but we'll see what's on the left first. Save station. Might as well just spider up instead of trying to jump our way over. Love how again every time you see the Carrion that we saw, you know, sort of outside the playable boundary below. Every time you see those, they're kind of like a reminder since the beginning of the game. Right away, you have a spider ball. Just in case it was at all unclear. Okay, so we're going to do the climb. Kind of interesting to see how this is rendered here. Still got some ground to cover yet. 98% so far, though, at least. Well, let's just powerbomb all this stuff. Interesting that there's a fall block up above. Ooh, screw attack block here. What is going on with this, actually? Maybe it just gives you a fast shortcut. I think it's just a little speed shortcut here, which this game has all over the place. Little speedrunner accommodations because they know their audience. Indeed, rolling around with ball everywhere would have been just fine. Okay, scanning this environment. 3 out of the remaining 4, and then, yeah, we know what we're heading towards here. All of this breaks to screw attack, so it's just telling me to screw attack. Okay. Let's see. Down below we have a passage out to the right. Also, there's a new log entry that I totally missed just now. Probably just about the area. The nest. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, interesting that in this game it imagines this area as being semi-aquatic. This is one area that I think is very strikingly different from how artistically it's conceived in Nintendo's own remake. which doesn't have nearly as much of that fluid element to it, and is a whole lot brighter. Because in Samus Returns, like, this area is like a big tree, a giant tree climb. But the way that it's depicted here has this moodiness towards it, moodiness to it that I guess befits the approach to finale. Really nothing? Really nothing, huh? But it looks like it's supposed to connect from down below, maybe. But, oh yeah, maybe this is the area that sinks once you take out 3 Metroids and, again, lower the fluid level, even though we are already technically going up. And Mario, do we know how close we are to the end goal of this game? Yes, we do. There are 4 Metroids remaining in total. 3 of them are in this zone. And I don't know how familiar you are with the original Metroid 2 structure, which, for the purposes of this commentary, I've been spoiling without restriction. But we know that it's 3 big Metroids here, the Metroid Queen, and then the return path up to the ship. So, also, it's been a while since our last save. We need to deal with another stun lock fest over here. Okay. We need to do better against these. Yeah, this room is even narrower than the last one that we fought it in. Slightly higher ceiling, perhaps, but we've been struggling with this one. The Omegas. The fact that we have to, you know, do this little minor jump here to get a shot in. Actually, when it's doing the flame, we can actually maybe approach it and really bang it up from the inside here. Possibly even with the super missiles, and then that at least gets us a little bit of shot accuracy that we wouldn't get otherwise, and then, whoop, that was a bad idea. Yeah, we actually do kind of need to go over, perhaps. Yeah, it swipes you. Yeah, this strategy isn't working, actually. Let me, oh, accidentally reset. That's okay. In the event we accidentally reset, let's just go back to the save and replenish. Yeah, because I was thinking, oh, just getting close and then we pop in tons of super missiles accurately at point blank from below, but we're taking far too much damage that way, so. But yeah, you need to do this short little bunny hop, dude. Just shoot him accurately, because the weak point just happens to be a tile up from your usual grounded missile shot. It's kind of unsurprising in a way that on the official end from Nintendo and Mercury Steam that they chose this game to be the one to introduce a more fluid, free aim on the missiles. And yeah, and Mario, it's pretty noticeably expanded, as it would have to be, given that the original was a Game Boy game with no map. I mean, this one even has more Metroids total, I think. It had more than the original 40. And a couple of little expanded segments here and there. So we don't exactly know how things will go. I mean, in Nintendo's Remake, it added an entire end boss that was right by the ship. That was not present originally. And this game sort of adds boss segments in its own right. Whoops, yeah, so I think we still have to go for jump strategy. This is still standing too close. Let's go super missile initially, though, if we can get a few good shots in. Oh. We want to use the super missile sparingly instead of spamming, but then we're just hit by everything here. And then I'm just totally locked here again. Come on. We still have 7 super missiles, so okay, yeah, super missile does solve the problem, though. Before we take too much damage. So yeah, I absolutely expect to stay to the conclusion today. Even though it has taken me maybe about an hour longer than it was supposed to, given the mishap we had earlier with searching for the ice beam. But that's okay, that's what the process of discovery is all about, and honestly, you know, particularly for anybody who enjoyed or perhaps not their time through Prime 4, which has been controversial for all the predictable reasons. One does miss the friction of getting lost in games like these sometimes, and you do sort of have to earn your way through the navigational mishaps for the full experience. I like what they've done with this place musically. It's quite striking. The choice of instrumentation. Okay, another one. So yeah, let's go super missile this time and just try to punch it. And just try to snipe it accurately with super missile, and then it doesn't actually take that many if you do it this way. And we, oh no, reset. Okay, that was a mistake. And we used so many of our missiles. Yeah, we don't want to jump out the side like that. We were doing so well too in terms of accuracy. Okay, don't get stunned. Don't get clawed in the edge here. And then, yeah, we don't want to go too far when we're trying to dodge off the side. And I was trying to get around to get more open space, but if we just keep going super missile, we might actually be able to just blow him up. Yeah, he's a little redder now already. There we go. Doesn't take that many. Okay, so that's the strategy. Sure. And we'll go for the last one, though. Again, we probably just want to get back down to the save before we back up, just because we're going to play it safe and slow. And we need those super missiles back anyway, so. Yeah, which doesn't matter, we're going to save. I feel like, you know, getting back to the save point sort of at the bottom right of a big column like this and then heading all the way back up is totally painless if you are a veteran of being swarmed by maggots and bile water under very similar circumstances. Very similar kind of layout too, right? Like save station at the bottom right of the big column. You just don't notice a run back this brief anymore after you've built up that tolerance. Okay, this is a bit of a lengthier columnar segment here, which, if it's going to be where we fight, might be a little bit stranger. We're still also, remember, still at 98%, so we should keep our eye out for power-ups past this point, although, again, I don't know how we'll do when it comes to pushing for 100. Oh, let's get into super missile here. Oh, actually switch to missiles. And then not get trapped here on the side. There we go, I actually got a hit down. Okay. Shouldn't take too many more hits. We actually need to hit. Nope, keep missing. Okay, it's slightly discolored now. Let's get 1 or 2 more hits in. 1 or 2 more hits in. What are 4 missiles here? Whoops. There we go. Such a sloppy way to do this, but it works. Why don't we just screw attack across here to begin with? Oh, I guess because the terrain was manipulated by progress through here. So we haven't seen any indications of power-ups in the area just yet. So let's hit the save and then go down that lava column that we saw earlier. Earlier, as in up above. Let's not go too far down. Then now we dip. And as expected, all that has opened up. Keeping an eye on a minimap in case of power-up related dots. No, we'll just work our way through here. Screw attack, and then see what the approach will be like. Yeah, we're missing 2 items total. If I had to guess, it's 1 missile expansion, 1 R-bomb expansion to get us up to 250, 2020. But we don't really know. That would make the most sense, though. And, you know, don't see any circles or obvious places on the map. It's probably just some wall we missed. I don't know if we'll find anything on the way up at this point. If it's past the Queen, I suspect that we have just missed 2 power-ups somewhere along the way. But we'll see. Change in biome here. I wonder when we'll get a glimpse of the egg. I kind of like this change in environment here, actually. This is neat. Yeah, it is part of the ascent in Samus Returns. Definitely feels a bit more clinical, I guess. But here, the change in fluid, the change in color scheme, and just this lengthy segment here with nothing has this good sense of foreboding to it. Anyway, just a whole lot of zigzagging here until we figure out where things are going to go. Okay, big cavern over here that is ominously opened up for us all of a sudden. And we're a good chunk of the way back upstairs, so let's see what we're in for. We'll to the water first. Ooh, oh, okay, so there's a big return path down here that just falls back down. That's interesting. I wonder if it was possible to actually just shine spark through that. In fact, just go up that column. Oh, yeah, we'd need to build up here and then run to the left to see it. I just want to try it to see if there's anything to that effect. I don't quite have the accuracy to do it though. Maybe if we, yeah, we don't have enough running distance otherwise. It might just be one way coming back down anyway in that column. Just one big open cavern, which of course we'll have to map completely because can't leave any tile unturned. Look at the shows those statues in the background too. This is oddly reminiscent of the opening area of Metroid Dread that you drop into. Anyway, up here we finally see a little bit of structure here, and we'll see what to do with that in good time. There are a couple of ways to head up here, and we'll see if maybe there's any last optional power-up behind any of it, although we don't see that mapped just yet. I want to check that one in the middle, actually. Looks too suspicious. Nope, nothing. And look at that. Conveniently placed door. Anyway. Getting pretty close now. And, oh, there's a right side room as well. Oh, I see. This must be another transport segment since it's marked in purple. And we'll see where it goes. Actually, I don't have a good sense of where this would even connect. Over here. So, yeah, possibly we discover something else here. Right. Oh, that's interesting. That it could have just been broken open to begin with, perhaps. We've been here before. But then, if that's just vulnerable to screw attack, how come we just didn't see it previously? I mean, presumably, you know, this thing just wouldn't be activated at that point, because that would just be too quick as a way of zipping to the finale, but I wonder what obstructed it previously then. If it was just a screw attack column hidden away like that. Interesting. But anyway, I guess that's a last chance to backtrack and find the final 2%, but honestly, looking at the map, I have no idea where I would even check for that. At this point, we'd really have to scrape. Because nothing jumps out at me as a place that would be obviously unchecked. So I think we may have to forego that. Too bad, we got so close. 98%. Let's save just to retain the map knowledge here. Now that's interesting. Can't actually pick this up or anything. It's just a new log entry. Hang on. Unknown. Translation of progress. Okay. Interesting. I guess we'll read it afterwards if we remember. Yeah, so this is very similar to what we recall. You've got the 9 Metroids from everything hatching around here. And you see the egg that we'll be looping up towards. And we'll do something about the brood. Oh, I'm still on Super Missile. Let's go back to standard. Any reason the maps are colored as such, like blue areas and teal colors? Kind of, yeah. So there is a bit of logic to the color coding, which is that the blue segment down the center, that's kind of like the main trunk path that was affected by the lowering of the fluid level as you complete each zone. The zones that are in teal, every time you enter one of them, those are the zones that are going to give you a discrete count of the number of Metroids that were detected within. So as you clear them, fluid level drops down in the central segment. Purple is color-coded as the fast transport segments. So that's the system. Now, the ship up here, it's just to show you that you've got the ship interior that's inside this spacious exterior. So there's a kind of exterior-interior logic to it, I guess. Although maybe that's not strictly adhered to, but you can kind of think of the teal sectors as these sectors that branch off the main trunk. And the main trunk just kind of continues through here, through this segment, and yeah, the climb here is just separately colored as well. And then green is kind of like interior zones within those zones, right? Like that when you enter the green areas, it's like you're entering the inside of a building or structure that is located within the cavern. So you can kind of visualize the layout that way. Genetics laboratory. And yeah, I guess we should see if we, well, eventually unlock that translation, but let's see where, yeah, so this is still unknown. I don't know if maybe we need 100% to make it known, but we'll, oh. Okay. Yeah, we'll just go standard missiles against this now. Get the new hatchlings out of the way. Oh. Here we go. Whoops. I drained a little bit here. Now we need to be a bit careful. I don't know if I can hit that. Let's try to maybe, hang on. Not a very good muscle memory for a diagonal shot. There we go. And not gonna bother. Oh. Come on, give me a shot here. There we go. All of the crystals that are edible by Metroids, of course. Oh, didn't expect this to all drain. Okay, we'll need to fight something here to release the lock. Oops, didn't mean to do power bomb here. After taking this one out, then we'll see if we wind up dealing with the Queen straight away. Yeah, one Metroid remains. Queen's in the zone somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think she liked the idea of all the infants being exterminated. So let's get over here and continue. This feels like a place I was supposed to shine spark through. Whoops. Okay, that's fine. We totally blew that, but oh, here it is. Took way too much damage on that. Okay, Queen Metroid. The only Metroid organism naturally capable of producing offspring. And yeah, okay, so we'll have to take her out. We really should have done shine spark through the spike segment earlier, but that's okay. Heavily aged, possibly as old as the lab she has settled in. And yeah, we need to do the thing we usually do with the Queen, be it in Metroid 2 or in other M for that matter. Rather famously. And let's just see if we can get that segment going and see what we need to do to trigger it. Okay, let's just take the faceplates that's vulnerable to something. And then we can get some health replenishment from that. And then, yeah, go missile on top, actually. Maybe a super missile on top since we are less vulnerable. Yeah, we'll switch to super. we'll get a good bit of replenishment from this too. So. We're getting the flash here. It's actually punching quite nicely. Actually, maybe shoot inside the mouth as well. So. Nope, doesn't do much, but continue to punch on the outside. Right on a snout. Yeah, we'll get a decent amount of replenishment throughout, so I'm not too worried about this phase of the fight so far, although I might regret saying that if this doesn't go well by the end. But replenishment is so generous here that we actually haven't declined it too much now. Yeah, we did run out of supers a little bit here, but we'll build up the count again and stay on standard missile until we do. Okay. Okay. Oh. I guess that's not the phase yet where we do the bomb. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm actually way down in health now. Oh, whoops. That was a problem. All of a sudden. Yeah, okay. Now we're way down in health. And need some replenishment quickly. Okay, at least... Yeah, we can kind of dodge. Hang on. Nope. Taking way too many hits. Didn't get to health there. Okay, so messed that up. Yeah, in the transition phase, we went a little aggressively there and suddenly took multiple tanks of damage all at once. Went from about 6 tanks to 2 and no time flat. I thought that was the area when you would just, you know, try to get in the belly and bomb her out, but we maybe did that a little bit too eagerly. Wow, we're actually quite far back in terms of saves. How did I obtain this again? Okay. That's fine. We just need to get through all the Metroid fights again and try to go in for a full tank this time if we are able to do it. Yeah, the first phase was so simple too. But yeah. Should be rather quick to redo this part. Anyway, let's oops. Is there not a save spot before the final boss? That was the save spot before the final boss. Just kind of catch you off guard. I mean, we can look at the map a little more carefully now that we know what's coming, but oops. And again, we could be a lot more careful with the spikes on the way to the boss room. We just kind of blundered through all that and took way too much damage on it, not knowing that we would drop into the boss room right away. You thought there was one that was closer in the original game, maybe? Okay, I need to... Yeah, I have no muscle memory for this. lower diagonal shot here. There we go. There we are. Okay. Down by a bit here. Oh. Come on, get out. There we are. Yeah, so this drops everything, and then we have the double fight over here, which we can do. We did it much more successfully last time, actually. There we go. Oops. Come on, get out. Taking way too much punishment this time, actually. Yeah, not in a very good state relative to... Oh, you might, yeah, because you have 2 doors there. I mean, you know, technically we can try to go back to the other save spot if we really wanted. Maybe we should. Because, yeah, this drop goes straight to the boss. Maybe it's advisable to do that then, but... Oh, unless these were just fall blocks that you can't really get through, or did we bomb through them? We did bomb through them because we bombed this entire room. Oh, we might as well, because we took so much damage from the Metroids that time anyway. We try to double back. Do things the long way and ultimately save time for further attempts. Yeah, nothing obstructs you from just going back for it. Quite a long ways, actually. Now this save point is right by the transport segment, and so it's not necessarily surprising to me that it would be the last one, but we'll take it anyway, and we'll still have to do the run back every time, but at least with less combat depleting us of several tanks, and we might be in a much better shape this time to get through the fight. Particularly, I was so much sloppier with the last Metroid fight this time, and took far more damage than we had before. Anyway, let's do it. So this area here, do we have a good way to just spark through? Actually, we don't really get a good run for this. Just need to be precise then. Whoop, it's a little precision segment here that at least only took about half a tank of damage this time, so. We'll switch to supers. Just try to dodge cleanly. Oop. Getting chomped up a little bit hard here, actually. A little bit worse than usual. Switch back to standard for a moment, just to use too many missiles. You can tell from the angle where she's going, but it takes a little bit of finesse here. Sort it out properly. Oh. I'm not very good at leading the target there, as you can see. Anyway, I'm banking super missiles again for the second phase potentially, but see if it works. Okay. Nope. Failed to dodge again. Okay, that should get us closer to this phase, not quite. Okay, green. Ah, okay, she blasts. Okay, yeah, no wonder we took so much damage that time. We got hit by the blast. Okay. I just pound directly this like this. And then replenish. Oh, blast, right? It's a blast. Okay, yeah, so we have to avoid the blast. It's not the suction yet. Almost out of supers here. Let's back to standard. Not get chomped by every rust here. Okay, that could have been a lot cleaner. That was actually not bad replenishment. Except we're in a bit of a dire circumstance now, so. 6 health. Nope. A little bit rough there. It's okay, we got a little bit sloppy and just we're not dodging for a while in the later phases there, so. Just need to work a little bit more in defense and maybe not go quite so aggressive with the missiles until we get that properly sorted out. Yeah, but at least we know that it's going to be blast after blast, and we don't want to get caught in those in the phase transitions. And we just don't want to stand in a corner quite like that next time. And let's try not to take too much damage on the little platforming segment this time, but you know, that's gonna take sometimes a little more precision than I'm able to give it here. Whoops, just hitting everything. Okay. So let's oh, not quite good at dodging here, but just need to get the dodge timing down. missiles. No, wasting a little bit too much here. Oh, can get in for a replenishment. Shouldn't risk it until we have a clear opportunity like we just had. A lot cleaner this time. I'm getting a decent number of missiles back because we're not just spamming. Oh, standing too close. Okay. That's somewhat cleanly, actually. We're still in 8 tanks. I mean, that could fall apart quickly if we're not careful, but like down to 7 tanks, for instance. Yeah. Oh, try to jump out of that. Yeah, quite high. Going low. Nope, not yet. Good amount of replenishment done. Rather switch patterns a bunch here, but stable in terms of health for the most part, but it can fall apart quickly, especially in this phase when we don't have such a ledge to stand on. So, cautious. Also, we've been using standard missiles again for a while. No wonder it would take so long. Okay, down. Okay. Nope, not vulnerable yet. Okay, so now here's the moment of truth here in terms of... Oh. Gotta stay high and low and just need to dodge accurately. Oh, no, getting trapped. Okay, still more. Beat it. Beat it up if we can. Whoa, and have to get the wall here. Yeah, that acid stays around for quite a long time, so... I mean, screw attack doesn't take those projectiles out, unfortunately. So we're down to our last tank here. get back to supers for sure, just to try the best we can. Losing here. That was one of the cleaner cycles we've had so far. If we do that, we can start accumulating a little bit when it comes to health. Sequence here. Come on. Takes a lot of hits. 56. I don't know if I have the finesse for this. It's been a long road to get to this phase of the fight. Nope, and then missing so many of these jumps. Okay, last. And then it keeps going. Well, not much room to dodge now. Okay, let's do it. Power bomb. There we go. Right in the guts. And our health will be beeping the rest of the way. Okay, let's not run into some random spike now, shall we? Yeah, that took a little bit of work, but... just enough replenishment to make that viable. Anyway, let's hatch the egg. The baby! The baby. And the baby's going to munch on some of this stuff. Like I said, the health will be beeping the rest of the way, and that's just going to be the music that accompanies us back to the top. Yeah, it makes sense though. I mean, it's much harder than Queen Fight in Samus Returns, but it makes sense because Samus Returns does have the extra final boss at the end, and I'm not expecting this will necessarily do the same, but you never know because this has been an ongoing project in some ways. I mean, like I said, this version was released in 2020 after the original AM2R ceased development in 2016. And who knows, maybe it had some other ideas that kind of responded in tandem with what Samus Returns was doing, so let's not get too confident yet, but we'll let the baby munch its way through. I suppose it might be a GG, but let's get back to the ship first before we declare victory prematurely. Yeah, and like I suspected, no additional power-ups for us because we were past the point with that. Anyway, our legacy. We have released the Ultimate Warriors. They have far surpassed our expectations as well as our control. Even so, we are stricken with guilt and grief as we leave them in a universe that is not ready for their existence. Pray for their success. Pray for the safety of all life in the cosmos. They don't last that long, thanks to the X-parasites and everything else that happens to contain them. So yeah, that was the secret log, as you can see. And Anything else that we needed to see here? Yeah, so 98% on the map. Like I said, I have no idea where to search for the remaining ones. Maybe they were in some of the tiles that were just tucked into certain slots here and there, but as we know, one of them, I'm sure, is a power bomb expansion, and so that would be tucked behind some corner with a power bomb. One of them is a missile expansion and could really be anywhere, from what I'm counting here. So let's just get back to the ship and lead the baby to victory. Nowhere to backtrack with the baby in this one. And lots of these fellows here, of course, saying, by the way, you have a spider ball. Like they always do. Well, yeah, back to the ship, and let's get out of here. So yeah, somewhat inflated completion time, even with the way we were exploring, because of the, again, hour or so we spent on the ice beam earlier today, but that's okay, we swept the map pretty well, and we'll make our exit from here. Another Metroid 2 remake. Originally produced by Dr. M64, Milton Guasti, who does now work for Moon Studio and worked on Ori and the Will of the Wisps, as we said. As I understand, he started this in the mid-2000s as a solo project, but then started hiring on people to do the graphics. And over time, the team has continued to expand from there. And I don't know much about the team by name. I do know that some of the people involved in the production end have since worked on another Metroid adjacent game, Bow Path of the Teal Lotus, which came out last year, in which I would like to get through it at some point. And so various alumni of AM2R in some capacity have continued to work their way further into game development in this genre or otherwise. And of course, we have the credits for the original Metroid 2 staff. Thank you so much for the GGs in the chat. This is more thorough accreditation for the original staff than happens for a lot of official remakes. And in memory of Satoru Iwata, of course, who, with this game having been originally in a finished clearable state in 2016, that was after his passing. Similar to how Nintendo's first big tribute to Satoru Iwata's passing was actually Star Fox Zero, which kind of came out around a similar time in early 2016. Anyway, I bet there is completion artwork for time and possibly percentage, but I'll have to look it up because we're not speeding through it. I would really be surprised if this team didn't put together some kind of helmetless completion artwork to go with that.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
This is a nice touch, actually, to bring it in line with the introduction to Super Metroid. Lovely touch there. But that does it for our adventure in AM2R. Like I said, not quite 100%, but I think it would take some time for me to sweep for it, especially given how long we swept for the main progression with the Ice Beam earlier today. And I don't know if there's much that was unlockable in terms of gallery content now that we've made through it. So yeah, we've got the completion art here, and clearly there are a few panels available for probably additional speedrun checks or possibly a percentage check, but that is what we'll finish on. That's the only thing that we've managed to obtain in a gallery here. And yeah, it does give you the pre-point of no return save, and so if we ever want to return before the Queen to sweep around, then we can do that, but we had our final completion time a little bit over that in the in-game timer. And of course, the actual time that we took was a bit longer than that, a little above a dozen hours, I think, when you account for menu time and talking and whatever else. But very glad to have finally satisfied our curiosity about this after many years of having known about this project and not pursued it. And really quite a study in how this team understood what to get out of Metroid, and definitely a lot of likeness to where Zero Mission was going, and definitely by deliberate design, especially with the little Shine Spark ramp puzzles here and there near the end of the game. I think the circuit that we had near the final zones, you know, with the final ascent on the left side of the map, like that felt a little bit sparse in that it was kind of straight up through the corridors, but it was aesthetically appropriately moody, I guess. Definitely didn't have the intricacy of the earlier zones when it came to exploration, because it was just straight up and you fight the Omegas and fight the Queen, but I guess we kind of followed that momentum to its natural conclusion. And to be honest, I don't even remember how that looked in the original Metroid 2. I know Samus Returns much better, but I think we'll close on that. Like I said, we have a new game that we want to feature on a stream later this week. I don't know if I can be on tomorrow, but certainly the day after, I would think. And we'll be looking at another Metroid adjacent title that is just released, Mio Memories in Orbit, which we've been keeping an eye on for some time and which we're eager to discover. And yeah, like I said, once again, quite a study in Metroid map design and explorability in this game, which, as with Samus Returns, kind of took the necessarily linear zone-by-zone hunt structure of Metroid 2 and kind of found a way into it that would give the player a good degree of agency and choice. And I played a fair bit of Metroid recently on and off the stream. Prime 4 on the stream, Prime 3 and Other M replaying them after a long absence off stream. And I've gone through all the Prime games within the past year or so, and of the Metroids that I've played recently, it's kind of interesting that this one is the one that let me, pick and choose the order a little bit within each zone, within restraints, of course, and also just drew on our sense of spatial orientation a bit, and that cerebral element to the map reading that I think is often the series at its best. So, a very authentic seeming experience, and we are very happy to have completed it live on stream. Thank you for joining me, and with all of those closing remarks out of the way, let's forward you folks off somewhere else interesting that we'll decide on in just a moment. Enjoy everything that you may be playing or making or watching or otherwise absorbing. And, as always, fairly well.